Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Caiden Cowger program, broadcasting from West Virginia. It is great to have you with us. So I was watching the confirmation hearing of Neil Gorsuch, and Senator Al Franken, Democrat from Minnesota, was on there, just completely grilling the guy. Absolutely pathetic. I mean, it was ridiculous stuff. And I have an audio bit that I want to play here for you, but this truly reveals just how absolutely absurd and crazy the Democrats are. Okay? Now, I have an audio bit here for you. This is Al Franken completely grilling Neil Gorsuch, and wait till you hear why. He's professing that he has political ties all the way back to 1976. Now, go ahead and listen to this. This is Neil Gorsuch and Al Franken going at it at the confirmation hearing.
Now, when we met earlier, I asked you what you thought of the way Senate Republicans treated Merrick Garland, and rather than answer the question, you replied, I try to avoid politics. But here you are in 2004, pledging your allegiance to the cause and shopping around a resume touting your work on political campaigns dating back to 1976.
1976.
These messages establish that for a good deal of your prior career, you didn't avoid politics, quite the contrary.
1976.
You were very politically active. So in light of that, I'd like to ask my question again. Do you think Merrick Garland was treated fairly by the United States Senate?
Senator, a couple of things in response to that, if I might. Going back, the absurdity doctrine argument was never presented to the court, and it usually applies in cases where there's a Scrivener's error, not when we just disagree with the policy of the statute. So I appreciate the opportunity to respond there.
When there is a Scrivener there.
Scrivener's error.
Error.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Not when we just disagree with the policy. With respect to campaigns,
well, if I read my statutory interpretation from, let's see, this is from the Notre Dame Law School, National Institute for Trial Advocacy.
He's literally getting his political knowledge, or his judicial knowledge, from a pamphlet. I am so equipped. I have a pamphlet that tells me about being a judge. Okay, go ahead. Whatever.
This is a pretty well-known exception to the plain meaning rule, and I think you can apply it without it. I mean, don't you think it's absurd that this man was given that choice and then fired for it? Don't you think that was absurd?
Senator, my heart goes out to him.
Okay, never mind.
My heart goes out. But it's just not my job to write that.
How do you think Merrick Garland was treated by the Republicans?
Senator, since I became a judge 10 years ago, I have a canon of ethics that precludes me from getting involved in any way, shape, or form in politics. There's a reason why judges don't clap at the State of the Union, and why I can't even attend a political caucus in my home state to register a vote in the equivalent of a primary.
Okay, but I don't think that this is you have to state your political views. That's not what this is about. How a Supreme Court justice who is nominated by the President of the United States, this is like in the Constitution. I think you're allowed to talk about what happened to the last guy who was nominated in your position. You're allowed to say something without getting involved in politics. You can express an opinion on this.
Senator, I appreciate the invitation, but I know the other side has their views of this, and your side has your views of it. That, by definition, is politics.
Okay.
And Senator, judges have to stay outside of politics. I think the world of Merrick Garland. I think he's an outstanding judge.
Okay, I understand.
I've told you what I think.
I understand. Thank you. I don't mean to cut you off, but we have time. I think it's really important for us to understand how your political work and your political views might inform the views of the law. And I know this. I don't hold it against you that you did political work. Lots of people did.
1976, I was walking the district with my mom.
Yeah.
Now for State House.
Oh my gosh. Did you hear what he said? Al Franken is making this entire case against Neil Gorsuch for political work that he did in 1976. You know who he was helping out and campaigning for in 1976? his mother when she was running for state house. He was helping his mom. He was campaigning for his mother. And Al Franken was hammering him for campaigning with his mom in 1976 when he was like 8 or 9 years old. That is absolutely insane. That's how crazy the Democrats are and how they are trying to absolutely smear Neil Gorsuch. They're pulling out campaigning he did at 8 or 9 years old to make it out like he's, politically engaged and is not suitable, is too biased to be a judge. It's absolutely insane. I made a tweet about this as soon as I heard that remark. I was campaigning with my mom for state house. Michelle Malkin tweeted me and said that Al Franken tried to smear Judge Gorsuch for walking with his mom, who was running for Colorado State House when he was 8 or 9. Absolutely crazy. Crazy. And this is what this is what Democrats are resorting to take Neil Gorsuch out. Being involved in a political campaign at the age of 8. Are you kidding me? My goodness. He's such a clown. He was on SNL for years, right? Al Franken told jokes his entire life, and now he is a joke. How about that? That's a little bit ironic, isn't it? But guys, this is seriously, Neil Gorsuch is a great guy. He is very intelligent, very smart. I have another audio bit that I want to get here for you of Gorsuch addressing Dianne Feinstein. Feinstein was trying to basically ask him if he believed in the Second Amendment and with the Heller decision. And Neil Gorsuch said, yeah, that is the way that it is. People, should have access to firearms outside of a
and now the president and first
state militia. Sorry about that. That was not the right audio bit. But I tell you, guys, it's this type of behavior that the Democrats are engaging in is absolutely crazy. They are out to try to make Gorsuch look absolutely horrible, and it's not working. Now, here's Dianne Feinstein. Dianne Feinstein tried to make it out like Neil Gorsuch was, somehow way off here by supporting the Second Amendment. Dianne Feinstein asked Neil Gorsuch, the Supreme Court nominee, if he thinks that the Second Amendment is unclear and in need of clarification. This is Feinstein. Go ahead.
Do you agree with that statement, that under the Second Amendment, weapons that are most useful in military service, M16 rifles and the like, may be banned?
Senator, Heller makes clear the standard that we judges are supposed to apply. The question is whether it's a gun in common use for self-defense, and that may be subject to reasonable regulation. That's the test, as I understand it. There's lots of ongoing litigation about which weapons qualify under those standards. And I can't prejudge that litigation.
No, I'm just asking you, do you agree with his statement? Yes or no?
Are the statements out of the Heller decision from the United States?
Justice Scalia's statement.
Well, whatever's in Heller is the law, and I follow the law. Well, it's not a matter of agreeing or disagreeing, Senator, respectfully. It's a matter of it being the law. And my job is to apply and enforce the law.
All right, fair enough.
So that was Dianne Feinstein. Now, I want to point out something here that is quite fascinating. Notice how they are trying to get Neil Gorsuch to present an opinion here. It's like they expect an opinion out of him. Al Franken expected an opinion, a political opinion, out of Neil Gorsuch. He didn't give one. Dianne Feinstein expected a political opinion out of Neil Gorsuch. She didn't get one. They expect judges to be politically biased. They don't expect them to be indifferent. That really does go to show you that while we had, Democratic control in Congress along with the presidency, why we have activist judges now in the Supreme Court. They are looking for politically biased judges, and they want these politically biased judges to be liberal. They don't want conservative justices. They do not want independent justices. What they want are justices that will manipulate the Constitution into favoring the liberal agenda. And if a justice will not do that, that's nominated for the Supreme Court, they don't want them. They want someone in there to advance their agenda, because when they can't do it through Congress, their second step is going through the Supreme Court. They are used to using the Supreme Court as being a legislative branch of the United States, equivalent to that of our legislative branch. They want to do away with the judicial branch and just make the judicial branch another type of legislative branch that they can go to. So if they aren't able to pass it through Congress by going through, the democratic representative way of doing things, then they take it through the Supreme Court to get it implemented anyway through judicial tyranny. It's basically a dictatorship of 9 people. That's what the Democrats are going for. It's absolutely insane. It's completely against what the founders envisioned this country of being. It completely goes against the purpose of the 3 branches of government. And balance of powers, that doesn't even exist, because they are trying to make the Supreme Court the supreme branch. They're trying to make the Supreme Court more powerful than both the legislative and the executive branch. That's how they're getting things done. If they can't get their way by getting it passed and working with Republicans, then they go through the Supreme Court. And they get it done that way. They manipulate the Constitution into being expanded and flexible, the elastic. It's elastic. And see, the thing is, that's really interesting about this entire thing, about this little type of, philosophy, constitutional philosophy of the Constitution being elastic, being flexible, being expandable, is that the only time that it can be flexible and expandable is when it is to confirm parts of the liberal agenda. Because I want you to listen to this, okay? I want you to understand how absolutely insane and absurd, I use insane a lot, because it's the truth, it's insane. I want you to understand how absolutely absurd the elastic vision of the Constitution is, okay? The belief that the Constitution is elastic, that it's flexible, that it can change. If the Constitution is flexible and is elastic and can mean whatever we want it to mean, then what is the point of having the Constitution? Because all the wording in the Constitution can be, it doesn't mean that. Freedom of speech, it was talking about speech that is, not hateful. That is loving speech. That's what it was talking. So we're going to, because it's elastic and it was used to evolve. I'm sorry, but they were talking about loving speech, peaceful speech. They're changing the intent. Because what they're saying is that original intent of the Constitution should not be considered. That's what they're expressing, that the original intent of the Constitution is insignificant. So if the original intent of freedom of speech is insignificant, why was, the First Amendment put in there for freedom of speech? To protect offensive speech that people don't like. Well, that was the original intent. So I guess we're going to say, no. The elastic clause, it's evolved. It now supports only loving speech. Hate speech, we can't have that. So that's how, absolutely absurd this elastic type of mentality is, because that basically means that words mean nothing. Words mean whatever you want them to mean. They don't have particular definitions. It's insane.
Fighting liberalism one lie at a time.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
How would you love to use a software that can boost startups and growth? You can get more customers, sell more, spend less, and understand accounting language with this ultimate all-in-one inbound marketing and management software for your small business. Join the crowdfunding campaign. Just visit appy.la and see why this program is a must. For just $97, you can get lifetime access to our complete business software. Join today at appy.la. That's appy.la.
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group is a company that deals with investing in precious metals such as gold and silver. They've been in business for over a decade and have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've been featured on Fox News, Market Watch, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Reuters, Fox Business, Financial Times, and Forbes magazine. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. They also offer various ebooks on investing in gold, such as the Definitive Gold Guide. So once again, if you're interested, you can call 1-800-932-4108. That's 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja is a company that specializes in slashing debt. They deal with various debt problems such as tax debt, debt settlement, debt consolidation, student loan debt, credit repair services, and bankruptcy. That is 1-800-826-1132. Now, their company, the Debt Ninja, operates on a national level and have worked to fight the IRS for many of their clients. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-826-1132. That is 1-800-826-1132. Once again, that is 1-800-826-1132. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced an extended service plan that is now available to the general public. This plan reduces the cost of auto repair expenses. Maximum Car Care was created to assist qualifying car owners with lowering repair bills of cars under 130,000 miles and under 12 years old. Maximum Car Care works to limit the expense of auto repair bills, roadside assistance, rental coverage, and towing. Their number is 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. Once again, that is 1-800-824-9762. Maximum Car Care is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
You know, most liberals profess to be liberal arts majors. You know, like majoring in English, stuff like that. Yet, do they not understand that words mean something? I mean, they act like they agree that the definitions of words can change. They believe that the meaning of a word is flexible. That a word can mean whatever you want it to mean. Which is not all that surprising, considering that they feel that you can, be whatever gender you choose. I guess the meaning of a word can be whatever you want the meaning to be. So that's how absolutely messed up the liberals are. Because that's the same exact philosophy that they have pertaining to the Constitution. The Constitution can mean whatever you want it to mean. Unless it violates, the liberal agenda, then that's unconstitutional, right? Because you liberals are the only ones that truly understand the Constitution, right? The elastic clause. That's the dumbest thing that I have ever heard. So, guys, let me ask you something. The Constitution doesn't say anything about, being an elastic type of document, okay? The words in the Constitution mean something. The Constitution is recognized as being the supreme law, which is a legal document, okay? That is the supreme legal document in the United States. When you enter into a contract, a legally binding document, is that document flexible? No, it's not flexible. Why is it not flexible? If it doesn't have any elastic in it, if it doesn't have any flexibility in it, no, it is not flexible, okay? It can be manipulated. They can try to manipulate it, but it's not elastic, okay? You are confined to the terms of that agreement. If it's written well, okay? If it's a well-written document, you are confined to the terms of that agreement. Now, here's the thing. What they are saying with the Constitution is that it can mean whatever you want it to mean. It doesn't mean anything specific. It doesn't have, the wording in the Constitution is flexible. It can be changed. It can be manipulated. That's why we have an amendment process. We have an amendment process, so if you want something to be added to the Constitution, if you believe something should be changed in the Constitution, you pass an amendment. It's not flexible. You don't do it by yourselves. You don't do it because, 5 of 9 people believe that this is wrong, so we need to change it. No, it is changed through an amendment process, and the job of the 9 justices is to interpret the law as it was written. Not as they personally feel, not because of liberal feelings, but because of the founding beliefs in writing that law, in the original intent. All right, if I write something out, okay? And then, 90 years later, I'm dead. My words meant how I intended for them to mean when I was alive. Okay? When you have an author. Okay, let me give you an example. 1984, George Orwell. That's a book I'm reading right now. 1984, George Orwell, okay? Why did he write 1984? He wrote 1984 to wake people up of this apocalyptic type society where the government was in control of absolutely everything. They were monitoring everybody. They had thought police. You couldn't think freely. What was the original intent of 1984? To warn people of a tyrannical government, of how a tyrannical government can come in and completely control everything and surveillance everything. And my, oh my, are we living in an Orwellian type of world today. But that was his original intent. His original intent of writing 1984 was to prevent something like that from happening. To warn people of such a type of government from being implemented. That was George Orwell's original intent. Well, according to the elastic type of mentality that we hear from the liberal left, no, you don't understand. George Orwell wrote 1984 to be a flexible book. He wrote 1984 not to tell us what we shouldn't do, but what we should do. He wrote that as a guide, not as a precaution. Why? Would that be the same exact standard as applying this type of elastic mentality to the Constitution? It's because what they are saying with the Constitution is that the meaning of the Constitution is able to be completely transitioned to where something unconstitutional clearly is constitutional and something clearly constitutional is unconstitutional. It's completely shifted to the opposite of what it means. Well, the same exact thing could be applied to a book like 1984. George Orwell, that original intent of George Orwell doesn't matter. See, look at this. It really meant this book, 1984, even though the original intent may have been to warn people, that's not what this book is about. This book has evolved. It's nothing but elastic, and it means that this is what we should do. This is a guide. This is not a precaution. That is literally the same type of mentality that liberals have pertaining to the Constitution with their elastic viewpoint. Words mean nothing. They mean what we want them to mean, and we want them to be compliant with the liberal agenda. If the wording in the Constitution is not compliant with the liberal agenda, then it has to be manipulated in order to be compliant. That's what these liberals do. That's what they are striving for. That's why the Second Amendment is so complicated for Dianne Feinstein. The Founding Fathers created the Second Amendment so we would have the ability to defend ourselves against a potentially tyrannical government that would rise to power. They wanted the American people to have the Second Amendment as a last resort to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government if one would form. That is absolutely horrible. Sorry, that's the reason why it was created. That is literally the reason why the founders created the Second Amendment, because the British disarmed the colonists. And they didn't want that to happen because that's our last resort of protecting ourselves, right? Guns. What, you going to fight a tyrannical government with a pocket knife? A butcher knife? Yeah, that's going to go over really well. They wanted us to have a sufficient mean of protecting ourselves. They wanted us to have sufficient ammunition to protect ourselves. That's why the founders created the Second Amendment, and the reason why they created the Constitution is a specific layout in order for us to have protection under the supreme law. But see, even with their document, the founders predicted that the Constitution would mean nothing. Isn't that something? I want you guys to think about this. The founders were smart. And the founders predicted that there would come a point in America where the Constitution would mean nothing, where it would be viewed as being elastic. Did they intend for it to be that way? Absolutely not. That's why they created an amendment process. But they viewed that at one point in time, there would come a point to where the Constitution would mean nothing. And that's exactly what's happening now. The Constitution, we're being told by the liberal left, the wording in it means nothing. It's elastic. It's flexible. It can mean whatever we want it to mean. And if that, includes clarification, if the First Amendment includes clarification, as Dianne Feinstein said, pertaining to the Second Amendment, then that means that, it can mean whatever we want it to mean. So the founders, knowing that this elastic type of mentality would develop in the minds of, tyrannical individuals, they created the Second Amendment so we would have a last resort to protect ourselves if a situation would ever occur where the Constitution means nothing and our rights completely deteriorate. That's how smart the founders were.
Some say he's the next Rush Limbaugh.
I tell you, this kid's got 90% of Rush's venom with only 10% of the biomass.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
You always want to look your best, but you don't always have time to deal with a necktie that won't cooperate. That's where we come in. Introducing the Never Tie, the only necktie that you never have to tie. Each Never Tie comes with a tie and 2 removable knots that you simply slide on and adjust for your comfort, giving you the perfect look every time. Choose from over 20 stylish designs at thenevertie.com. Enter promo code RADIO1 for discount.
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China...
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group is a company that deals with investing in precious metals such as gold and silver. They've been in business for over a decade and have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've been featured on Fox News, Market Watch, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Reuters, Fox Business, Financial Times, and Forbes magazine. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. They also offer various ebooks on investing in gold, such as the Definitive Gold Guide. So once again, if you're interested, you can call 1-800-932-4108. That's 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja is a company that specializes in slashing debt. They deal with various debt problems such as tax debt, debt settlement, debt consolidation, student loan debt, credit repair services, and bankruptcy. That is 1-800-826-1132. Now, their company, the Debt Ninja, operates on a national level and have worked to fight the IRS for many of their clients. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-826-1132. That is 1-800-826-1132. Once again, that is 1-800-826-1132. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced an extended service plan that is now available to the general public. This plan reduces the cost of auto repair expenses. Maximum Car Care was created to assist qualifying car owners with lowering repair bills of cars under 130,000 miles and under 12 years old. Maximum Car Care works to limit the expense of auto repair bills, roadside assistance, rental coverage, and towing. Their number is 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. Once again, that is 1-800-824-9762. Maximum Car Care is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network, where America comes to talk.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
Guys, I want you to consider this. Why would the founders put the Second Amendment in there? They had to believe that the government could potentially become tyrannical. Even with their document, the government could become tyrannical. And that would come from the manipulation and the deterioration of the law that they wrote. And now we have a popular constitutional view, they call it, of the supreme law, believing that it's elastic, believing that it can evolve, believing that it can change. So the founders created the Second Amendment so we'd have the ability to defend ourselves if our rights would completely, be deteriorated. Be completely terminated, I mean. So, that's an interesting way of looking at it. It's almost like they predicted this elastic view from, taking place. But anyway, it's quite messed up how the liberal left views the Constitution. And I want to move on here to another audio bit here. We have, is her name Klobuchar, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Democrat from Minnesota, Al Franken's sister, not literally, but, same state. And she's from Minnesota, and she asked Al Franken if women can be president since the Constitution refers to he.
Constitution refers like 30 sometimes to his or he when describing the President of the United States. You would see that as, well, back then they actually thought a woman could be president even though women couldn't vote.
Senator, I'm not looking to take us back to quill pens and horses and
but
buggies.
Just if you could answer that question,
century.
It's pretty important to me.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
Of course,
dummy.
Women can be president of the United States.
Okay.
I'm the father of 2 daughters.
Great.
And I hope
Okay.
one of them turns out to be president.
Okay,
of the
that's
United
wonderful.
States.
How about like the Air Force? I agree with you. That's good. So in that case, you say, well, we can't take it at its literal words. So then the Constitution also says,
you dummy. Can women be president? We had an amendment added allowing women to vote. If you can vote for that position, you can run for that office. Don't be a moron, Senator Amy, whatever your last name is. That's what I mean. These people are so absolutely idiotic. And I just made a good point here. Women can be president, and the Constitution says he, not she. There was an amendment added. I don't know if you know much about the Constitution, but you had an amendment added giving women the right to vote. 19th Amendment. These people, I tell you, oh my. That's how dumb they are. They are very, very idiotic. And they're using, ridiculousness like this to make it out like originalism is insane. Originalism is ridiculous. Originalism does not fit the modern era. Yes, it does if you use it properly and not trying to make absurdity like this. What I would have said, do you believe that women should be president? Do you believe that women can be president? This is crazy. Now we have Dianne Feinstein also saying to Neil Gorsuch that Roe versus Wade is now a super president. Roe ensured that women and their doctors will decide what is best for their care, not politicians. Senator Feinstein to Neil Gorsuch.
Thank you. If these judgments, when combined, do not constitute super precedent, I don't know what does. Importantly, the dozens of cases affirming Roe are not only about precedent, they are also about a woman's fundamental and constitutional rights. Roe ensured that women and their doctors will decide what's best for their care, not politicians. President Trump repeatedly promised that his judicial nominees would be pro-life and, quote, automatically, end quote, overturn Roe v. Wade. Judge Gorsuch has not had occasion to rule directly on a case involving Roe. However, his writings do raise questions. Specifically, he wrote that he believes there are no exceptions to the principle that, quote, the intentional taking of a human life by private persons is always wrong, end quote. This language has been interpreted by both pro-life and pro-choice organizations to mean he would overturn Roe. The Supreme Court is also expected to decide what kind of reasonable regulations states and localities can implement to protect our neighborhoods and schools from gun violence. In fact, just last month, the Fourth Circuit became the fifth appellate court.
So there you go. So now she's saying, oh, this is a super precedent. No, it's not. It's a ruling like everything else, and it's a bad ruling at that, because abortion is not even mentioned in the Constitution, and the Constitution says that anything not mentioned in the Constitution, in the 10th Amendment, is left up to discretion of the states. And life is something that should be preserved. It was recognized as being unalienable. Unalienable, meaning it can't be taken away in the Declaration of Independence. That's how the founders viewed life. English law at the time viewed that as soon as a baby is able to start moving, called the quickening law, as soon as babies are able to start moving in the mother's womb, you can't have an abortion. That's within 16 to 25 weeks. So they even had restrictions on abortion according to English law. And the founders recognized as soon as the stirring happens in the womb, as soon as the baby is there, that it can't be aborted. It is murder. That's the founding view. Now, we get to this other thing from Feinstein, saying that she finds this originalist judicial philosophy to be really troubling.
Which has also stated that he believes judges should look to the original public meaning of the Constitution when they decide what a provision of the Constitution means. This is personal, but I find this originalist judicial philosophy to be really troubling.
Are you kidding me? Play it one more time. My goodness. This is Dianne Feinstein saying she finds it to be really troubling.
Which has also stated that he believes judges should look to the original public meaning of the Constitution.
The original public meaning of the Constitution. That's originalism, okay?
When they decide what a provision of the Constitution means. This is personal, but I find this originalist judicial philosophy to be really troubling.
Really troubling? Seriously? The original meaning of a legal document you find to be troubling? Trying to figure out what the founders meant when they wrote the document is troubling? When the supreme law is meant to represent the views of the founders, how in the world is it troubling? That's what the Supreme Court is there for, to be upholding the standards that the founders set in the law that they wrote. You find that to be troubling? Are you a moron? That is the purpose of the Supreme Court, to interpret the law of the founders in the way that they wrote it. Not to be elastic. If it's elastic, then words mean nothing. You are dense. My goodness.
In essence, it means that judges and courts should evaluate our constitutional rights and privileges as they were understood in 1789. However, to do so would not only ignore the intent of the framers, that the Constitution would be a framework on which to build, but it severely limits the genius of what our Constitution upholds.
Why? Because you believe that it can be changed and manipulated and compromised to favor the liberal agenda. You're a quack.
Caiden Cowger. Keeping America straight.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger.
Somebody had to say it.
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
You always want to look your best, but you don't always have time to deal with a necktie that won't cooperate. That's where we come in. Introducing the Never Tie, the only necktie that you never have to tie. Each Never Tie comes with a tie and 2 removable knots that you simply slide on and adjust for your comfort, giving you the perfect look every time. Choose from over 20 stylish designs at thenevertie.com. Enter promo code RADIO1 for discount.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group is a company that deals with investing in precious metals such as gold and silver. They've been in business for over a decade and have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They've been featured on Fox News, Market Watch, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Reuters, Fox Business, Financial Times, and Forbes magazine. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108. They also offer various ebooks on investing in gold, such as the Definitive Gold Guide. So once again, if you're interested, you can call 1-800-932-4108. That's 1-800-932-4108. All right, guys, let me tell you about our friends at the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja is a company that specializes in slashing debt. They deal with various debt problems such as tax debt, debt settlement, debt consolidation, student loan debt, credit repair services, and bankruptcy. That is 1-800-826-1132. Now, their company, the Debt Ninja, operates on a national level and have worked to fight the IRS for many of their clients. If you're interested, you can call at 1-800-826-1132. That is 1-800-826-1132. Once again, that is 1-800-826-1132. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, American Auto Protection has announced an extended service plan that is now available to the general public. This plan reduces the cost of auto repair expenses. Maximum Car Care was created to assist qualifying car owners with lowering repair bills of cars under 130,000 miles and under 12 years old. Maximum Car Care works to limit the expense of auto repair bills, roadside assistance, rental coverage, and towing. Their number is 1-800-824-9762. That is 1-800-824-9762. Once again, that is 1-800-824-9762. Maximum Car Care is a proud sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network, where America comes to talk.
Caiden Cowger.
Somebody had to say it.
I apologize for coming through the microphone and bursting your eardrum, but I am ticked with this. This is insane. This is the craziest stuff I have ever heard. I mean, it's really revealing to the American people that the liberal left does not have a good grasp as what the Constitution represents and what the role of the Supreme Court is supposed to be. The role of the Supreme Court is supposed to be to defend the supreme law, the Constitution, as it was written by the Founding Fathers. And the liberals believe that the role of the Supreme Court is to uphold the standards of liberalism and manipulate the Constitution into favoring the liberal agenda. They are a bunch of nutcases. Guys, I plead with you. You have to wake up and see this stuff. Does this not sound insane to you? Write to Dianne Feinstein. Tweet her. Tweet Al Franken. And be sure to include at Caiden Cowger in there too. CAIDENCOWGER. Matter of fact, tweet me. This is crazy. This stuff is insane. You've got to wake up and see this. These people are completely inept when it comes to the Constitution. I think that the American people are clearly seeing that. Now here we have CNN guest saying that he does not care how qualified Gorsuch is. He does not care how qualified Gorsuch is. He doesn't deserve this seat. Go ahead and play that.
To repeal and replace Obamacare with something better. Let's talk it over with our CNN political commentators, former Reagan White House political director Jeffrey Lord, and Democratic strategist and former Clinton White House aide Keith Boykin. Keith, to you first. How much will the stalled nomination of Judge Merrick Garland be on the minds of Democrats at this hearing?
Well, I think this is an inevitable controversy. The issue is that the Republican Party obstructed President Obama's nomination for more than a year of Judge Merrick Garland. So any
Democrats did it
possible
too.
nomination for Neil Gorsuch or anyone else is essentially filling a stolen seat.
Oh my
gosh! This
gosh.
was a seat that Republicans said they were not even going to have a hearing, not even a hearing for Merrick Garland. And you had people like Ted Cruz and John McCain who said they were going to obstruct Hillary Clinton. If she were to win the election, they were going to obstruct any person who she nominated as a Supreme Court justice. So I think the idea that Democrats should take this person seriously is outrageous. I don't think that Neil Gorsuch, I don't care how fair he is or how honest he is, how good a person he is, he does not deserve to be in the seat. He should not even be considered for the seat.
You little charlatan. Oh my goodness. Doesn't matter how good he is, doesn't matter how qualified he is, doesn't matter how honest he is, doesn't matter how good of a justice he is. He's not a liberal, so we don't want him. He's not going to support the liberal agenda, so we want nothing to do with him. It is very, very clear what is taking place. Liberals are trying to destroy freedom. They are trying to destroy the Constitution, because if they can destroy the Constitution, the document that supplies our freedom, then they can take it away from the American people, because there is nothing legally binding to protect our rights. This is insane. This is the liberal left. This is who they are. This is what they are. This is what they want to do. That was Keith Boykin. He's a political commentator for CNN. But his view is rampant among the Democratic Party, because I've heard it before. That is literally where we are at, ladies and gentlemen. We are combating a bunch of people who are unpatriotic, who have no respect for the Constitution, who have no respect for the role of the Supreme Court, who have no respect for the Founding Fathers, who hate America and want to transform it, fundamentally transform it. That's why Obama is their poster child, because his exact role that he stated, quote, we're going to fundamentally transform the United States. Well, what is fundamentally? What's the foundation? What is the foundation of the United States Constitution? Well, they've definitely done a good job at manipulating that, haven't they? Look at the justices that they've nominated. Stolen seat, it was rejected, so it wasn't stolen. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for listening to us. For more information on the Caiden Cowger program, go to CaidenCowgerProgram.com. And for the latest news exposing the left, go to CounterNation.com. thank you. May God bless you, and God bless America.